Yeah. Alright, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy 3 Stickity in this thing representing TKOG. And today I actually attended my first locals in a very long time. It went down to Atomic Gaming. I found out about their tournaments. I heard from a friend. And I was like, dude, there's a locals. There's actually a locals. That's so clutch. I thought I wouldn't even be able to go. Because I didn't know that locals were even like a thing right now. So I took pure SHADDOLLs. I did really good. I did really good today. I only lost one time, and it was in Game 3 against Skokis. And it was literally just because I opened only one fusion spell, and he had a Dragoon. He played through Nib, had a Dragoon. And I'm like, dude, you got one negate, I've got one fusion spell. What do you think's going to happen? I played the best I could, but I ended up losing regardless. That was my only loss. If you don't want to hear the tournament report, just skip to the deck profile. To be honest, I don't need you to complain in the comments about my tournament report. This is for people that are interested. So there's 5 rounds. I played 2 different SHADDOLL variants, and I played Dinos. It was Mystic Mind Dinos, and I played against Heroes. Heroes is actually really strong against this deck just because of Dark Law's existence. It's so annoying. But I did 2-0 Heroes. Pretty convincingly, too. Like, it was just boom, boom, boom. Like, it just couldn't keep up with me. Like, I just outpaced him. The SHADDOLL invoked, and then Dogmatica SHADDOLL invoked. 2 different variants that both played invoke cards. I 2-0'd both of them. I actually just outplayed them. I felt like it was really just my knowledge on the deck was just superior to theirs. I just out-resourced them. I knew exactly when to do what and what to do in the right times. It was like almost like flawless. Even when I ended with Verde and my opponent used triple tactics talents to take it, he summoned Dragoon. I just super polyed it and it was game. I played through like Ash, Valor, Fleur de Lis, and still summoned Boar-Sword. Surprisingly, it wasn't game though, but he ended up scooping after I super polyed his Dragoon. For the SHADDOLL invoked matchup, that one was pretty interesting. He did get to go first. He opened up pretty nicely, but it was just like, I just kept opening insane. Like, all the time, I was opening multiple fusion spells, light attributes, and quite a few dolls, and I was just playing through so much and just destroying these boards, you guys. My deck was really cutting up today. Like, the SHADDOLL mirror matches were so convincing, it almost just was like, it wasn't even like, it was like one-sided sometimes. I feel like the Dogmatica SHADDOLL invoke one was a little bit tougher, but I still just outplayed him. Like, it was crazy, you guys. Like, game 1 was pretty nice. He went first. That was the game I played through, like, the Ash, Valor, and the Knighted, and then super polyed his Dragoon. Game 2 was pretty nice, too. He just summoned Macabre through a Droll, and I just, like, styled on him. It was crazy. Probably one of the most insane games that I had today was actually against the Mystic Mind Dinos. It was just crazy. For one, I play 60 cards. Why would you use Mystic Mind against me? Like, bro, so I'm sitting here just building my resources. I'm not leaving one monster on field hoping that he commits one so mine dies. Bro, I swarmed the field. I left up Winda. I had Dweller. My first turn, I summoned Dweller, Winda with Schism and Ghost Ogre. And the funny thing is, the hand that I didn't even have a fusion spell. I had Foolish Burial. I had Edge Imp Chain. I had Windy. I had Cypher Gear Driver and Ghost Ogre. And so what I did was I Foolish Burial Trick Clown, normal summon Edge Imp Chain, made Cross Sheep, searched Patchwork, activated it, got Poly in another chain, and then I just did full combo with fusing with Windy and the Cypher Gear Driver. I pretty much comboed with my bricks. And my ending board was Winda, Schism, Abyss Dweller, and he just Mystic Mind me. It took him a long time, but I out-resourced him. He ran out of all of his Oviraptors, all of his miscellaneouses, both his conductors. We got into a chain link war that was insane. It was like Ogre on Lost World, Valor on OV, Miscellaneous Source, Chain Valor, Chain Miscellaneous Source. Then Schism, sending Conductor to Grave. He Book of Moon my Winda. I used Construct to send SHADDOLL Hound to flip my Winda back face up. It was freaking insane. I was like, big brain right here. Galaxy Brain plays, yo. It was so nice, but he ended up losing. He just couldn't deal with Construct and Battle Phase, obviously Conductor. They both were at the start of the damage step, but they both activated, so he just lost all his Conductors. He had no more Dino cards. He scooped. And then game 1, like, he went first, and I just destroyed him. Like, I ended up just, like, clearing his board, Boar-Sword. Matter of fact, I didn't even clear his board. He just scooped once he saw the Boar-Sword, and I had El-SHADDOLL Fusion in hand. It was just nice, you guys. Like, this deck was just cutting up. I made so many crazy good plays, and a lot of people were, like, just, like, talking to me about my deck, and, like, some people even knew me from my channel. And the dude that I played in the SHADDOLL mirror match, funny enough, he's like, oh, you're that guy. I seen your SHADDOLL deck profile. He's like, oh, no wonder why I lost. And it was just, like, really, really fun, really enjoyable. There's so much, like, technical play involved with my deck that I just really performed well. I don't think I made really any misplays. In fact, I made the correct reads at the right time and just really proved that pure SHADDOLLs is definitely dominating. Because I beat the supposedly better variants. I beat Dogmatica Invoke 2-0, and also it was Dogmatica Invoke SHADDOLLs, and then Invoke SHADDOLLs, I beat that one too. And it was like I was playing through Schism, Macabas, Fleur de Lises. It was just nice, you guys. So I'm going to get into the profile because there's quite a few things. And the Goki matchup, that is my only loss, like I said. It was still a really good game. There's a lot of back and forth. And like a lot of good reads. I got to give him props because he was a good player, but I expected for him to carry me, but he ended up losing like 3 times that day. So, I mean, today I was like, dang, bro. If you would have topped that, at least would have got higher placing. So, let me go ahead and get these out the way. These are the packs I got. I'm going to go ahead and get into my deck profile. Today was just so fun, you guys. Oh my goodness. I just enjoyed playing my SHADDOLLs today. It was just, some of the plays I made were just hilarious. It was like, dude, it was crazy. Like, I was absolutely cutting up. My hands were insane, like, all the time. Even the weird ones, I just made it work. So we're going to start off here with my SHADDOLL lineup. So I'm just going to lay the cards down and then talk about them later. So we played 3 Mathmans. I actually decided to try out 2 Geldogras today. And these are honorary SHADDOLLs. They're not SHADDOLLs, but these can be fusion outlets or SHADDOLLs if you need them to be. And I'll explain that when we get there. I played 3 copies of Squamata. I also played the triple Windy. Windy, you know, it's like... we'll talk about it when we get there. I played the triple Hedgehog. I played triple Aerial. I actually played 2 Beast this time. I played 2 Dragon. Hound was the nuts today. It really was. Kyos also unbricked my hands. And then we played Falco. So now talking about the doll lineup. So obviously I played 2 Dragon because this card's actually really, really strong against control decks. And it's a really, really good card against like Numeron decks, against like Lost World. You know, pretty much the fact that you can trigger this on your opponent's turn is what makes it so good. You just have spot removal on command. You can also summon this off Windy on your opponent's turn and use either Hound or Resh SHADDOLL Incarnation to flip it face up to bounce a card in case you're dealing with the threat that can't be like targeted. I mean, not targeted, but that can't be destroyed for whatever reason. So I think 2 Dragons is absolutely correct. This card is really, really strong. It also even helps to chain block, and there's a play with evenly matched where you just go like +3 through it evenly. And then Falco obviously is a GOAT. Like, you definitely want to play at least 1 Falco. This card is just really, really strong, you guys. It's such a lifesaver. Like, there's some chunk blocking plays that you can do with Windy into Falco, Falco into Aerial. Aerial special summon the construct that I banished off of my own SHADDOLL Schism, and then use construct to just generate more advantage. And you just normally they can't like get any more pushes in. Like, so you survive a whole OTK and you set yourself up for your next turn, all just off resolving 1 Windy with the graveyard and banish zone set up. So when I play this deck, I do set my graveyard and my banish zone up because I actually play 3 Aerials. We'll get there when we get there. So Kyos is definitely a GOAT for especially today. Like, there were hands where I had just all Dark Dolls, and I had a couple fusion outlets, and I just searched this out off either Squamata or Hedgehog. Either one of those cards gets you access to this because Squamata dumps Hedgehog, or Windy can special this, and I just got access to Construct, and we all know Construct is big. She's an amazing card. Hound was really, really fire, especially against Dinos. One of the best plays, and I think one of the most big brain plays I made with this was definitely against Dinos when he used UCT. I wanted to change his UCT to defense, but then I thought about it, I was like, oh, he's under Miscellaneous Source. There's no point in targeting that because it's unaffected. So then I decided to target my Winda that he booked with UCT, flipped it back face up, so now he can't extend any further. So he literally booked him with my Winda. I used Schism, because obviously, you know, I sent one of his UCTs, use Schism, and then summon Construct, dumped the Hound, and I special summon, I mean, not special summon, but I dumped the Hound and then changed my face down Winda, flipped her back face up, so that way, like, she's back online. He would still get the 1 special summon, but he only gets that 1, and that's it. So it's just insane, and this card is just amazing, you guys. I love it so much. It's so good against Infernobles, you know, the Gearfried interaction. Fuse with Squamata, summon Winda, they summon Gearfried, effect with Squamata, dump this, change Gearfried to defense. Now you don't have to worry about them outing your whole board with 1 Gearfried. Hound is just super duper underrated. It's like a Resh SHADDOLL Incarnation too when you don't want to burn the trap effect. And then moving up to like the bigger names, like the better SHADDOLLs that have a lot more utility. I played 2 Beasts. This was the easiest one to cut because it's a level 5 for 1, and all it really does is draw. I like maxing out on it because it's a better name. It replaces itself when you fusing. Whenever you're fusing with this deck, you want to make sure that your cards are replacing themselves as much as possible so that you can resolve your second and third fusion spells so that you can keep comboing off or keep pushing through those hand traps. Like when your opponent's trying to Veiler, Imperm, and Knighted and stuff like that on your construct, you're forced to have to summon another construct to get her dumped that you didn't get off the first or the second one. And cards like these just help you to just keep gaining advantage so that you have effective, like enough materials for you to just keep fusing off. So talking about Squamata, Squamata is absolutely the best SHADDOLL monster in the entire deck. It really does not make sense why people would play 3 Windy and 2 Squamata. That doesn't make any sense. If I had to choose a 3-2 ratio between these, I would always play 3 Squamata and 2 Windy, but obviously I max out on these because these are like the best ones. The thing with Squamata, Windy, and Hedgehog is these cards have the most utility out of all the SHADDOLLs because they allow you to access virtually any SHADDOLL card. Even if Hedgehog can't add a SHADDOLL like Spell or Trap or the flip effect, you can use it to search Squamata and use Squamata to dump that Spell or Trap and then get access to this. So these just give you your entire deck. They're amazing. Like Windy's incredibly strong. Just resolving Windy already sets you up. You're so far ahead. And then also, Ariel really shined a lot today. Ariel was just really, really strong. This card has always been strong in my opinion. It's the way I use it. Like some people play Ariel and they'll see what I'm doing with Ariel and then they'll start playing 2 or 3 because they realize how strong this card actually is. He actually is an engine in itself. And what I like to do, like I said, is I like to use Schism to banish my construct and basically set myself up for an Ariel, and I'll summon Construct, dump the Windy, use Windy to special summon either Falco or Ariel. Either way, I get access to the banished Construct that I literally banished off my Schism. So Schism fuels Ariel. Ariel can fuel himself. And also, against the SHADDOLL Invoked Mirror match, it's not like a mirror, but it's a SHADDOLL Mirror match, he was able to like outplay me in certain instances. When he summoned the Dragoon, he did pop my Construct and my Ariel. But I used Ariel to target his SHADDOLL Fusion, his Construct, and his Dragon, because those were the only 3 SHADDOLL cards in his grave. I banished them because he basically summoned Construct, dumped Schism, and added it back. So I banished all of his Schism targets, so his Schism was dead, which was amazing. And like he was holding that 1 negate for Dragoon. He was like trying not to use it on Ariel. So it made the Schism dead to where all it is discard fodder for Dragoon, and I just super polyed the Dragoon anyways. Like, this card is just the nuts, you guys. It's so strong. Like, all of these are. Like, these are the best SHADDOLLs. Like, Ariel, Windy, Squamata, and Hedgehog, these are the best SHADDOLLs. These are the only ones I would play at 3. Like, if I had to cut anything else, I'd cut everything down to less than 3 before I started messing with ratios on these. And as you guys can see, I did mention SHADDOLL lineup. And Geldogger and Mathematician are obviously not SHADDOLLs. I wanted to experiment with this, so I made some ratio cuts just for consistency purposes. I cut down on 12 hand traps to 10 and decided to just give my deck a little consistency boost, and I'm really glad because I was opening insane all day even though I play 60. Geldogger is like an honorary SHADDOLL. It's not as strong as Mathman in my opinion, just because Mathman can do more, but these cards basically indirectly are either fusion outlets or they get you access to SHADDOLLs. That's all this one can really do, is it gets you fusion access or a SHADDOLL fusion. So it's either a fusion spell or a fusion material. If you play like Almirage and Secure Gardener, then it's obviously a 2-in-1, but I don't play those cards. I just use this to just dump off Cologne, and that's pretty much it. And normally that's enough. Like, if you have like Geldogger plus any random SHADDOLL, and you have just like an extra like random SHADDOLL or any card that's worth discarding, you can just set up your own combo off of this. So Geldogger is really, really strong, but it's not as strong as Mathman, and that's why I played the 3 Mathman and only 2 Gales. Mathman, we already know how crazy this card is. I make people a believer of this. This card outs Macabre Dragoon. This card outs Borlode Savage Dragoon. Like, literally, I used this today, like, in so many different ways. This card is amazing. Like, I'm playing against SHADDOLL Invoked. I think it was the Dogmatica variant. You know, I needed a fusion outlet, so I summoned the Construct, but some stuff happened. You know, Construct got knighted, so I couldn't dump El SHADDOLL Fusion. So then I normal Madman, dump Squamata, dump El SHADDOLL Fusion, link the Construct off in a cross sheep, and I go ahead and grab my El SHADDOLL Fusion from grave to hand. This card is just amazing utility. If you have Mathman plus a bunch of dolls, this is a 1-card Verde Anaconda. You can dump SHADDOLL Fusion and use the dolls in your hand. So this is like a pseudo fusion spell. So it's like better than Geldogger because it also can pressure your opponent and break boards by itself. And Geldogger can't really do that effectively. So Mathman is just insane, you guys. Such a strong card. And now I'm going to go up to my fusion outlets and or just the spells. It's either going to be fusion spells, regular spells, or cards that give me access to fusion spells. So this card's insane. It actually won me quite a few games today. Like, even in the mirror matches, it was just so hard for them to play around this. Because by playing around this, that means you leave very little to no interruptions at all. And even in hands where I didn't draw this, I was just literally using Squamata or Construct to dump this and add it from grave to hand and just activate it. So I was seeing this card a lot. This card was just nuts today. And you guys should already know if you watch my SHADDOLL content, SHADDOLL Fusion is like literally my favorite one. This card plays around Veiler, Knighted, it plays around Droll and Lockbird because you can activate it in draw phase. This card, it's just insane. Like, it's super duper strong. SHADDOLL Fusion, Chainita, Anti-Spell, Dimensional Barrier. It's so reactive. It's so strong. It's more flexible than SHADDOLL Fusion. It's just not as powerful. So this one has the power, and this one has the flexibility. And I like flexibility over the power a lot of the time. So this one is always one of my key cards for me to get access to through my combos. And then I played 3 Patchworks. This card is insane. It's a +2. Like, it literally is because the Chain Search is another one. I played 3 Black Sheep. This just gives me Poly access. I played 3 copies of Poly. I played 1 Super Poly, 1 Emergency Teleport, and Fullsborough Good is nuts. It's almost like Math Man. So E-Telly, I actually like it, and I'm glad that I started playing it, because this gives me either Winda, Ghost Ogre, or Gamma. So what it is either a SHADDOLL, which sometimes you use this to make the Construct link. Like, you could have E-Telly plus any SHADDOLL, normal, activate, and just make the Construct link, and you could pop off like that. Or if you need a light attribute, you could just summon out the Gamma or the Ghost Ogre, either or. I prefer to summon Ghost Ogre because when you summon the Ghost Ogre, you can bring it back off the Cross Sheep, because I leave Cross Sheep on the field, and I'm the one who pretty much started doing that. Even when the SHADDOLL structure deck first came out, literally when SHADDOLLs just became popular, I was always leaving Cross Sheep. I've been playing like that. People are just not catching on. So this is like an honorary fusion spell. If you have another doll in your hand, you can make the link 2 with it. The Super Poly is nuts. This card saved my life against Dragoon today. Definitely don't regret playing it. It's for the Verde play. This is why Mathman can out Dragoon. It's really, really strong. I also use Verde to turn Makaba into a Dark. So that way I could just use the Verde to just out the Makaba. Like, I baited it, but I wanted to just use it to make the Draco. So this card just was insane today. And Poly is just another fusion outlet. I noticed that SHADDOLL struggle with getting their engine rolling without a fusion outlet. And as you guys can clearly see, I played 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 fusion outlets. 16, if you draw this, is not that bad. 17, if you draw a doll, and you guys see how high of a doll count I play. So this is 17, and this is 18. Because you can use Foolish to dump Trick Clown, Normal Summon, make Verde, and that's your fusion outlet. So I actually, indirectly, even if these guys don't, like this is a fusion spell, so that's 16. These allow me to get access to either Construct, the link 2, or Verde Anaconda, either or for this one. But for this one, only Verde. And that is just another fusion outlet. So when you think about it, anytime I draw a spell in this deck, I'm always going to pop off. And you have to add that up. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. It's no wonder why I was opening so insane. Like, I was comboing through hand traps, like, interruptions. It's just this card. Like, these cards are so good. Like, fusion outlets are really important in this deck. That's why if I ever, like, had the choice between which variant, I would always play Pure. Because it has the most room for flexibility. It has the most space for tech cards and extra deck space. And I get to play the Poly Searchers. Poly Searchers are more consistent because there's more cards that add Poly than Invocation. And in addition to that, I don't like the Trap variant because it's way too slow. There's nothing wrong with it. It can grind, but SHADDOLLs can already grind exceptionally well. And the best traps, forget like Torrential or like Dino Mistress or anything like that. These are the only traps you need, bro. These are literally interruptions already. So, like, I don't really... This is just how I play. I like gas. Like, I want to go second and break a 4-negate board. I don't want to lose the dice roll and be like, please draw SHADDOLL Fusion or SHADDOLL Fusion. Because those are literally the only 6 fusion spells that I have. That's the consistency issues of SHADDOLLs. And if you play Nefe SHADDOLL Fusion, it's more susceptible to interruptions than any of the other SHADDOLL Fusion outlets. So even that one's a gamble. So I just really like my ratios. I like my build. And it proved very effective today. Like I said, I only lost once. And these cards are absolutely insane. Resh is really, really good, but I'm not going to lie. I use Schism a lot more today. And that's crazy because I prefer Resh with L, but there were some times where I'm just like, dang, I can only pick one. And when you can only pick one, this is the one. Because when you can only pick one and you go for L Shaddoll fusion is only as impactful, in my opinion, as the fusion materials that you have access to. So if you have, like, for me, it was like Gravity Controller and like something else. It was like, dude, summoning Winda, it's not as plus worthy. But at least with Schism, I can summon Winda, but then on my next turn, I can summon Construct and start my engine up. So this card was insane. Outing Makaba, like, I played so skillfully against Dogmatic Invoke. I saw a Makaba coming because I had a Construct engaged, so I knew he was going to go for my lights. And I was correct. So what I did was, after he normal summoned Alistair Search Invocation, I activated this. Then he summons Makaba. I used the effect. Before he used his invocation, I used the effect of Schism. He tried to chain. I was like, nah, bro, it's already activated. And that's exactly why I activated it first, just in case he had a trap like Imperm or Punishment, so he can't negate the activation with Makaba. So it's really smart. It plays in the Ogre, but it plays around Makaba. And I summoned Construct, sent his Mechaba, used Construct to send Ariel, and I banished his Mechaba and the invocation in his grave. So I cut him off his Invoke engine and killed Makaba, all with just the Schism, which was crazy. So I was using this card like a beast today. It was just super duper good. This card's strong. It outs what's that card's name? Megaclops. This card outs Avermax, Untargetable, Indestructible. It outs Dragoon. It outs pretty much anything that's not unaffected by traps. And according to my knowledge, continuous or lingering effects are like, I don't know, I'm going to talk about that later, or probably not at all. But anyways, Schism is nuts. I was thinking about like Schism versus Miscellaneous, but I don't even want to go there. But anyways, now for the hand traps and tech cards, I made the 3 nibs. This card was nuts. The only time it was like when I nibbed. But I didn't have a choice because Goki's actually summoned Appaloosa and then do the Codebreaker under it. So when I saw 4, I had to nib because I knew he was going to summon Appaloosa no matter what. When I saw the material, so I nibbed him. He actually used the nib token and another monster to make Nightmare, and it was enough. Like, he just made Verde, had Blink Karibo, quite a few things. Popped my nib with Dragoon because, man, I was hoping he wouldn't do that. I mean, it's obviously you wouldn't forget that, but I was like, please just forget to pop it so I can just crash this into Dragoon. But he popped it. So I was like, it was okay, because at least the board wasn't as bad as it would have been if I didn't have the nib. So even if it just can simplify whatever your opponent's going to do, this card's just amazing. And it's a light attribute. I actually fused with it like 2 or 3 times today. 3 Gamma. Card was the nuts. In the mirror match, the only fusion spell I had was Shaddoll Fusion. My opponent had an Ash. I had a Gamma. I was so ahead right there. It was just crazy. This card, I can't play pure Shaddolls without Gamma. If I had to cut every hand trap but this, I would keep this and cut everything else. Gamma's just way too good in Shaddolls. I played 2 copies of Ogre and 2 Veiler. It used to be 3-3, but I actually cut down on the Ogre, the Veiler, and 1 Shaddoll Beast to make room for 2 Gale Dogras and 1 Emergency Teleport. I felt that by cutting down on 2 hand traps and 1 Shaddoll Beast, I actually upped my consistency because Gale Dogra and E-Telly are more flexible than Beast, Ghost Ogre, or Veiler. So my deck had 3 more consistency cards, so that was really, really beneficial. So it was like, help me more instead of hurt my opponent more, and I was really, really happy about it. I think I'm going to keep the list like this. And finally, for the tech cards, they're not really tech cards, they're like engine requirements, the Edge of Chains, and the 1 Trick Clown. I definitely am going to get a Golden Lord, even if I have to borrow it from one of my friends. Just so that the next time I go to locals, I'll have a Golden Lord, because it would have been really, really nice today. But honestly, like, the deck did really good. I don't even think I think the only game that I actually lost was like against. Yeah, I think it was against Goki. Like, I think it was just 2-0s. Like, I 2-0'd Heroes. I 2-0'd both my Shaddoll mirror matches. Dinos, I 2-0'd them. Yeah, so literally my only loss. Not even a match loss, just my only game loss was against Goki's, and that was game 3. And yeah, the Dinos, like, that was crazy. I'm so glad that I played 60 cards, because he could have decked me out, because I have no Mystic Mine outs, but he's going to deck himself out before I do. I play 60. So he had to commit, and by the time he had to commit, I had a full field. I had, like, Veiler, Ogre, Schism. I just had too much, so, like, don't Mystic Mine this deck, bro. Like, because he did it. He played the waiting game. He built his resources. And I just had, like, everything. Like, I had answers to his answers. It was crazy. So now for the side deck, I sided Lancias. This card actually did come with the clutch, as did the Jizukirus, and Droll in the Dogmatica Invoked Shaddolls. I drolled him. He had a Nadir. He showed me at the end. He showed me that he had Nadir and Ecclesia, and I drolled him on his Invoke part. So all he ended on was Makaba with, like, I'm not sure if there was any hand traps. But it was, like, easy to play through Makaba. I mean, my hands were nuts. So this card was very rewarding. If I didn't draw him, he was probably going to have Schism and like Punishment, and that's just too much. And then we have 3 Evenlies. I did not resolve this card today, but this card is just so good this format. And I never really sided Dinko's, but this card is always going to be a really, really strong card. And the fact that it's light attribute, if you guys notice some synergizing elements with my side deck is, even my side deck has synergy to make Construct. This is why I started playing this instead of Gamma Seal. This is here instead of Imperm. It's a lot higher impact than Imperm. It does more. It covers more ground. And Dinko is like a budget option for Lightning Storm, but sometimes it's better. Because with Lightning Storm, they can still chain the traps or the cards or whatever it is and still get advantage, but Dinko just turns it off. And whenever you want to set your own cards, obviously you're just going to clear as much as you possibly can and then link the Dinko off so that you can set L or Schism or Resh only if you need to, because normally you can OTK and it wouldn't even matter. So her effect that like restricts us from setting doesn't really matter because you can link her off or fuse with her anyways. That's the side. Now for the extra. The 4 Constructs, these cards are nuts. This card will never be power prepped. Construct is just insane. I summoned 3 so many times. I've summoned 3 in the same turn. Like, my deck is really, really fast. I'm not gonna lie. Like, a lot of people were impressed with it, and the dude that was playing Dogmatic and Invoke Shadolls was saying that he wants to learn how to play Pure. So that just goes to show that my deck was performing so good that he doesn't even want to play Dogmatic and Invoke anymore. Like, he doesn't. Like, people are starting to see exactly why I play Pure, even though it's not as popular or it's not as trendy. Like, bro, I play what I want, and I just make it good. That's how you do it, bro. You don't play what everybody else thinks is good. You can play a deck that's so bad to people, and you make it good, bro, if you're either a good player or if you're dedicated enough. Double Op Colonnade card is... This card is the nuts. This card is so daggone good. Oh, my goodness. This card is insane. Oh, man. I would have died to Heroes. Like, literally, I made a hindsight play. I was like, oh, snap. He's getting ready to OTK me. So I set up with Falco, because this was already engraved, but he nuked it off of his Absolute Zero. He did Acid Absolute. And so I'm like, alright, that's a bet. So Effect Engrave, you know, I'm chain blocking. I get what I need. I grabbed SHADDOLL Fusion. I discarded Windy that I actually searched. So I discarded the Windy. Special Falco. He goes in battle phase. Attacks the Falco. I special the Opcolone. He attacks it. Can't be destroyed by battle. Halt there. Pass turn. OTK. It was nuts. And like to deal with the his what's that card name? It's that fusion that they summon off the evil hero. It's like it's Dark Calling, Bane, Malicious Bane or whatever. I just negated it with Opcolone and then just attacked over it. Double Winda. Woo! This card makes people sweat, bro. Like this card makes people sweat. Like he's nuts. We have Shikinaga. I summon this against Dinos. We have Draco. This card put in work only 1 time. Well, actually twice in the same match. I summoned it 2 times. This card is just really, really strong. I'm glad I started playing this in 1 Super Poly. My deck just keeps adapting as I start seeing what comes up more and more or less and less. And what comes up the less, I swap it out for what comes up more. And that's how I really craft my decks when I upgrade. We have Gravity, Cross Sheep. Leave it up, dude. Leave it up. Don't be greedy. Don't be greedy, commit to Appaloosa when you can just keep playing your engine. So this card's very rewarding. Even asking the SHADDOLL Invoke player that I 2-0'd, I was like, do you play Cross Sheep? Because he made a play that I personally didn't agree with, where I saw that he had a fusion outlet with Alistair. I asked him, I was like, why don't you just make Cross Sheep so that way you could keep generating an advantage with your Schism. When you use Schism, you could trigger Cross Sheep and bring back a doll. And he was like, oh, I don't play it. I think that the deck, if you don't play a Link 4, it's just not that good, and it doesn't get that much advantage. And I was like, bro, that's literally what it does, is it gets advantage. That didn't even make sense. And then I play Verde. Verde's a lifesaver. I probably should play Dragoon, but this card is scary just because people will think that Dragoon comes out whenever I summon it. I probably should play Dragoon, but I have to throw 3 bricks in and cut consistency cards, so that can really hurt my feelings if I do it. Borsword was nuts against Dinos. Oh my goodness. I was like, bro, alright, it's time, so I'm just going to link 4 in a Borsword, leave the Winda, and now I'm like, well, by the time you commit, and then that's when he knew it was time, so he just dropped the Mystic Mine, activated Lost World, and Borsword is actually really strong against Dinos, because the fact that even if they summon Doka, you can activate this in battle phase, change Conductor to defense, and they can't respond to that effect. So it saves your life. Like, literally, it saved my life. And then Dweller. I couldn't find a reprinted Appaloosa, so I decided to go with Dweller instead of Unchained Abomination. And I'm glad I did, because I ran into Dinos and SHADDOLLs. All those decks are... Dweller's good. And also against Gokis, because all their floating effects. So now I'm going to go ahead and open these... I'm going to open these packs, you guys. I'm just going to open them on camera, just see what I pull. So, Let's hope that we're blessed. Thank you, D's. At least give me some Meow Meows. Or maybe I'll pull like a Nutty Secret. Who knows? I feel like I might just get really, really fortunate. Tri-Brigade Oath. Okay. I'm interested in Melfi, so this might actually be useful for me. Oh, I got a Stained Greaves, because I definitely do want to build PKs in real life. Rookie for hire. Tribute one monster, special one for hire from your hand or deck. Hand or deck? Oh, snap. Rookie for hire. And I play for hires, too. I'm glad that I just got that. I hope I get 3 more of that. That's like an e-tailer. Yeah, there's a cost, but it's still nice. Ooh, we got some UA cards, the mutant cards, avatar. Ooh, a Tri-Brigade. Okay, that's nice. Another one of these. I don't want to play that in Dark Worlds. I don't think it's that good. Mutant Fusion. It's good, but it's not like... You don't need that. Like, not for my build. My Danger Dark Worlds, I'm good. I don't need that card. So let's see. I'm just saying, I might just get really, really fortunate on my pulls. Dual Avatar. Okay. Jack in the Hand. I think I have 2 of that now. This is the 3rd in a row. I saw somebody open more packs than this and only pulled 1 Stained Greaves. Hopefully these packs are blessed. Dang, I should have I should have prayed. Father God, in the name of Jesus, please bless these next 2. Allow me to pull something worth it if it's in your will, in Jesus' name. Amen. Let's see it, baby. Nice that I'm getting some UA cards. Although my friend Isaac actually has my UAs right now. Because we swapped his Ancient Warriors for UAs, and then he told me whenever you need the UAs, I can always get them back. So that was nice. So far pretty mad, but at least, you know, I got certain cards that I might end up, like, be interested in using. This is the last pack. Let's hope that it's worth it. Let's see if we plus. Let's see if we plus. UA Hyper Stadium. Ooh, I have a playset of Jack in the Hands now. Ooh, the new Infernity stuff. Okay, okay. And these were random pulls that nobody wanted today. You know, when people open their packs and just leave stuff on the table. Another man's trash is another man's treasure, because I got this new link too that I want to try out. It requires 2 effect monsters. I might actually try this as a generic link 2 in SHADDOLLs, because sometimes I just need to link off just to get SHADDOLLs engraved. This card is actually really nice too. This is making it where now there are certain zones that are just not safe in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, especially for Orcus, even though they're not as popular, like the Long Girsu zones and the Orcustrion zones, and now this zone, and then the Relinquished Anima zones. That's just too much, bro, that you have to play around in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. That's crazy. And, like, even though you might not run into those cards, the fact that you have to play around so much, it's just ridiculous. That's crazy. But I'm glad I got this, at least. And that was from other people's pulls. But yeah, you guys, that's the whole video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. God bless you.